What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hold the Line Sports Channel. It's Will here. Today we are going over, our All-Star snubs for the MLB, and I'm also going to be building the team of all the starters. Kind of building my lineup at the very end as well. Some of the rosters I don't think were absolutely horrible this year. There have been some years that were pretty bad, to say the least. But this year, I think they definitely missed some, for sure. But there's always going to be snubs every year, no matter what. Even if they got the roster absolutely perfect, there's still going to be snubs, strictly because you got your every team has to have one. Like I think we need to do away with that rule because it just kind of takes away, people being able to be all stars. And that's why a lot of MLB, like Hall of Fames, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't take All Stars as serious. They take like Silver Sluggers, MVPs, Gold Gloves, all that kind of stuff, and then your actual raw numbers. But like in other sports, you take Pro Bowls, All Pros, or you take Pro Bowls and NBA All Stars, into major account because it's kind of like it though it's serious over there. But some of them will be because you have that rule where every team has to have one. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. So biggest snubs. I don't think the American League is that bad. The starters are pretty good. I mean, obviously we see Jose Ramirez opted out. That's why Junior Caminero is now starting. They got Jose Ramirez right though. The things that I would probably change is I don't think Jacob Wilson should start, even though he has been really good. And in a lot of other years, he would start. But I do think that Jeremy Pena should have started the All Star game because he's been very good. Not like as high average as Jacob Wilson, but he is such a good fielder. He's such a good fielder. So I think Jeremy Pena should have been the starter at shortstop. And then I think Byron Buxton should be the starter in the outfield over Javier Baez. I love the story for Javier. And I wouldn't mind if he's still an all star because he has been really good, way better than expected. But a starter, no, I can't get behind that one. I think Byron Buxton has earned the starting spot, and especially in his hometown too. Let Byron start, and then I think I would have had Jonathan Aranda starting over Vlad. I think he's hitting like 320, and he's genuinely just been better in all facets. Like I do think Vlad's been really good and is an all star. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's becoming a little bit, kind of like not like name brand, but his name carries a lot of weight as it should. But I don't think he should have been the starter over Aranda. Um, but like my biggest snubs for this would probably be the biggest snub in the AL, without a doubt, George Springer. He's fifth in the AL in slugging, fourth in OPS, and fourth in WRC plus. He has a case for an All Star starter, and he's not even an All Star. You see that name right down there at the very bottom, Julio Rodriguez. My overrated takes coming into great. It's aging like fine wine because ain't no way that man should be an all star. If your OPS has a 6 that starts it, no shot. You should be an all star. Absolutely no shot. And he's a starter over a guy that has like an 886 OPS. Yes, Julio can defend and run. You got to hit the ball. That's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. And Julio has not done that, not even close to George Springer. So George Springer's the biggest All Star snub. The other one of the hitters, who I don't know if I'd have him as an All Star. I would have him as an All Star over Julio, but is his teammate Randy Rosarina. He's he's beating Julio in every single stat and slash line, so average, on base and slug. He's got 100 points higher in OPS. That's ridiculous. I get defense and base running is very important in center field, but you do have to hit as well. And the value that Randy has brought with his bat, I think, is more than he's brought with his glove. Because the Mariners, they need hitting. Cal Raleigh has basically been their whole offense, which it's working pretty well for him because he's hitting like Jesus. But yeah, I think I would rather have Randy as an All Star than Julio Rodriguez. But I think this one wasn't too bad. I think before Caminero got in, um, I think he was a snub. That's why I'm glad he got in. But before that, I think they had it pretty well. Then we can scroll down to the starting pitching, and the relievers a little bit down. I think they got the relievers perfectly right, so we don't really have to go into that one. But starting pitchers, I think they got it pretty right. I'd say the biggest snub is Framber Valdez. But I mean, the only people I'd take out are the people that have to be there because they're their team representative. Like he's been better than Yusei Kikuchi, and he's been better than Shane Smith, but no one else is a representative from them, so they have to be there. That's why this rule is stupid. But yeah, Framber has been so good. He's 9-0 with a 2 ERA over his last 11 starts. That's ridiculous. He's lost a start. He's lost a start, and the Astros are apparently inevitable. But yeah, I think the AL is pretty good. I'd say the major snub that isn't due to the all teams have to get one representative rule is Julio over George Springer. That is egregious, absolutely terrible. Shout out Pierce Abbott, Blue Jays fan, one of my best friends. George should have got in, buddy. He should have got in. But you know, I don't know how the players voted Julio in. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Moving over to the NL. This is where it gets bad. Starters, Will Smith is correct, yes. But I think Pete Alonso should start over Freddie. I love Freddie, and I do like that he is starting because he's coming back to Atlanta. But I think Pete Alonso has been better. Cattell and Manny, cool. Francisco Lindor, all-star caliber season. He's probably been the third or fourth best shortstop this year. You can make an argument for third. I'd probably have at four. So I don't even think he should be an all-star. He's at an all-star caliber season. It's just shortstop has been so stacked. So stacked. Outfield, I'm fine with Ronald being there. Strictly because it's in Atlanta. If it was any other place, I think it should have been like a James Wood, something like that. But I'm fine with Ronald being there because he's going to be in right field and hopefully leading off for the MLB All-Star Game in Atlanta. That's going to be so cool. Other than that, I think I got the starters right. The reserves, Hunter Goodman, the only Colorado Rocky representative, but this one I actually think he deserved an All-Star. Now, has he been better than other players that were left off? No, but Hunter Goodman deserves an all-star nod here because he actually has been really good this year. But I think the main misses, the biggest one is Juan Soto, undoubtedly. Yes, he got off to a slow start. A slow start was still like 250 and like a 380 on base. That's slow. He has been elite over probably like the last 6-7 weeks. But I was shocked that he was not on here. He's first in on base percentage for the entire outfield. He's second in OPS in the entire NL outfield. But you got guys like Corbin Carroll, who I think should have been there over him. But he's missed 2 weeks with an injury. That's a lot of games. Fernando Tatis, who's ninth in OPS in NL outfielders, was an all-star starter. So like, I get it. He had a slow start. Tatis has been slow after the first 6 weeks. He hasn't been good since then. Genuinely, he's been like league average. Juan Soto doesn't play good defense and has more WAR than Fernando Tatis, because he's been that much better as a hitter. So I think that is the biggest snub. Then you got a guy like Seiya Suzuki as well. I like that's pretty bad. He's leads the league in RBIs. As much as everyone says RBIs are the stupidest stat, it produces runs for your team, and that's the ultimate goal of baseball, score runs. If I can produce a lot of runs, I'm going to be a good baseball player. And then he also has the fourth highest slugging in the NL. He has like 26 home runs. Power stroke has been there. Strictly moved to a DH, and he's been so good for the Cubs. Um, but it kind of just goes back to like that, the rule basically. Kyle Stowers, who has been good, should not be here because it doesn't. You don't need to have one person from every team. You should have Juan Soto instead of him, and then maybe Seiya instead of Tatis or Seiya instead of Carroll. But he has been DHing. Schwarber has probably been better than Seiya, so I'll give him to that. But the other one, I think another big one, the Phillies had a lot of snubs, but the biggest shortstop snub was Trey Turner. Um, and I think he leads the NL in hits and leads NL shortstop in WAR. So technically, he's been the most valuable shortstop in the NL, and he's not even an All Star. It's pretty bad. I think he should probably be in, even though Brendan Donovan has been really good, he should be in over Brendan Donovan. But the infield was kind of stacked. Like there's so many shortstop that missed it that could have been All Stars. Trey Turner, Geraldo Perdomo, C.J. Abrams, all three of those guys could have been All Stars in another year, and they just weren't. Um, it's just because it was stacked this year. I think you take out Brendan Donovan, and then you take out Francisco Lindor, and then you have Ellie, Trey Turner, and C.J. Abrams. Those are your middle infielders right there. Besides Cattell, obviously, that should have been All Stars. Those are your three shortstops that should have been All Stars. I think Ellie. I think Ellie's been the best one, but I think that C.J. Abrams and Trey Turner should 1,000% be All Stars this year. And then scrolling down to the pitchers, I think they got this roughly right. Andrew Abbott being added on was great. I thought he was a snub before that, and I love that they did a legend pick for Clayton Kershaw. Absolutely love it. And then David Peterson deserved it as well. So and the main, I'd say, snubs, I guess, were two Phillies pitchers for me. It was Ranger Suarez and what was the other guy's name? Christopher Sanchez. Both lefties that have been really good. I just don't know who they'd get in over. Like you got Boyd, he's been really good. Gore obviously is there. Peralta's there. Robbie Ray got replaced by David Peterson, I believe. Chris Sale got replaced by Andrew Abbott. They should all be there. Yamamoto, Webb, and Zach Wheeler, 1,000% should be there. I think I would probably replace Peterson with Suarez. That'd be the best right there. And then maybe usually you only take like 3 or 4 relievers. And they took 5 out of the NL. So I probably would have maybe taken one of them out and thrown Christopher Sanchez in there. Because the Phillies pitching has been starting pitching has been really good this year. So those are my snubs though. They weren't that bad. There was just some egregious ones. Like there wasn't like a ton of snubs. But like my two biggest were Juan Soto and George Springer. Those were the two biggest in each league. So basically the outfield. So I think those were the biggest ones. And then now we can go into what we're going to do is I'm going to build the lineup of each team and how I would make it for like if I was the manager basically. So leading off the American League, and I can't really like put anyone obviously. Leading off in the American League, there's not really like a prototypical leadoff hitter because no one on this team like leads off for their team really. So I would probably put Jacob Wilson. I think he has been really good and would probably be the leadoff hitter. So the first batter of the 2025 All-Star Game would be a rookie shortstop for the Oakland or the Athletic baseball team. Then we got Aaron Judge. Obviously, I think he's going to go into 2. You don't really want to put anyone else like 2 above him or like because like if you wanted him in the 3, so just move him up a spot. And then we're going to put the guys who have beef apparently together. Cal Raleigh is your 3-hole hitter. He's been the best hitting catcher of all time. So I do think that he deserves to be in that 3 hole. Back into the 4. I personally would probably put Riley Green. He's been so good for the Tigers. And I think he's been, the probably the second best outfielder this year. And then after that, I'll put Vlad there. The kind of the pedigree of him. You kind of put him up a higher. You can't really put him too low, because I mean he's been really good. And then another guy I think that has been really good, and got thrust in the starting lineup now. Junior Caminero. Probably going to spell this wrong, but I think he's been really good. A really good right-handed bat. That you know, uh, he's been probably the best player on the Rays this year. That has been a really good team. And so 7 now. If like I get it, it's the All-Star game. It doesn't really like take much into account. I'm just putting a lefty there, just because it's me. I'm putting Ryan O'Hearn at the 7. Really good DH. So basically the best player on the Orioles. Can't wait to see what he does on another team. Then 8 hole, I got the 2 Tigers rounding it out. Gleyber Torres, and then the guy who does not deserve to be a starter, Javi Baez, as the 9 hole. Going over to the NL. I'd say this one was my easiest choice. Ronald Acuna Jr. needs to lead off for the team. If this was any other team, or if it wasn't Atlanta, I could have him not leading off. It's Atlanta. You have to have your one Atlanta All-Star starter out there, and he's an actual leadoff hitter as well. So I think we'll have him out there. Then I think you go to probably the second most electric player on the team and go to PCA. Pete Crow, I'm all in. He's about to go 40-40, hit like 270, and play the best outfield in the league. And he should get some MVP votes this year. If Shohei Ohtani was not Shohei Ohtani, he would be the MVP frontrunner right now. And honestly, if you were to tell me that you think PCA should be, I wouldn't be mad at it. I really wouldn't. Yeah, PCA has been very good. Then we're gonna go to the typical Shohei Ohtani hitting the 3 hole, and I think then we go back to back Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, kind of get him in the 4 hole for being back in Atlanta. I like that a lot. And then 5 hole, Kyle Tucker, another guy who's been very good for the Cubs this year and kind of been the guy there. I know that's 4 straight lefties, but we're gonna have to manage it. This team has a lot of lefties. Then we're gonna go Ketel Marte, the best second baseman in baseball by a long shot. And so I really do think he should be the 6 hole. Then after that, I'm gonna go probably Will Smith. Kind of break it up a little bit. Will Smith, best hitting or second best hitting catcher in baseball. In a lot of other years, he'd be the best hitting catcher. So she kind of got a guy over there in the 3 hole in Cal Raleigh, who's been the best hitting catcher of all time. So yeah. Then 8 hole, I'm gonna put Manny Machado there. Really good third baseman. I don't like him, but he goes there. And then the guy who deserves to be a starter the least, because I don't even think he should be an all-star, is Francisco Lindor in the 9 hole. And then starters. This guy that I'm going to put for the American League has not been the best starter in the American League. But what a story it would be. Max Fried. Imagine the Braves let Max Fried walk. Stupid decision, right? Then he goes to the Yankees, tears it up, and is now starting for the American League in the All-Star game. What a story that would be. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then in the National League, I wanted to, I think strictly because he started last year, I'm not going to put Paul Skeens because I think he's been the best pitcher, but I don't think he should start 2 years in a row because I didn't think he should have started last year. Like 10 starts. So I don't think he's going to start this year. And sadly, it's going to be a Philly. It's going to be Zach Wheeler. It would be Zach Wheeler starting for me. He's in his hometown as well. He's from East Paulding here. Was committed to Kennesaw State, my alma mater. So this is his hometown. You get a lot of hometown boys from Atlanta in this game. You got let's see here, Zach Wheeler. I think that's actually all the people that are starting that's from Atlanta. But a lot of people, played in Atlanta and kind of returned stuff like that. So I think it should be Max Fried starting pitcher, and then Zach Wheeler as a starting pitcher for the NL. Let me know what you guys think. Did I miss any snubs? Did I miss any you know like what would your lineups be? Comment down below what your lineup would be for the American League, the National League, stuff like that, and who you think should start the All-Star game. And yeah, y'all have a great weekend, and peace out.